Well, good morning, good morning. Just wanted to bring up to you guys, back to the Sons Odin ordeal. I cannot stress enough where the FBI agent Michael Curtis, who is now retired, was the agent over me, had me looking into the Sons Odin, Logansport, Peru, Kokomo, Lafayette. You get the idea. This is about 3 months before Delphi. They were there in Delphi, and it was following up on a militia training that was done at Ron Logan's property, and a 33-degree Master Mason at the same lodge as Nicholas McClellan goes to. Imagine that. Both of them were Masons. Hmm. Bet you guys didn't realize that connection, but we're going to go deeper. The sex side of this ring, Judge Phelps, wasn't Lafayette crew, like everybody thinks. Kokomo had two parts of that crew going on. The sex side, the drug side. Phelps sat on the drugs, not drug, but the sex side. Hmm. Then where this drug ring is already trying to get away with another murder, setting another one up, take the fall, and every single one of the witnesses go back to what in and around that involved drug ring involving Gabriel Ellis. I want you guys to use the Charles Manson mindset, the puppeteer mindset, the getting off on power and controlling people. This is how Gabriel Ellis is. And during Karina's, I already heard where he made multiple people participate, and the reason being is anybody that was there that could be a witness that could turn on him. If you participated, well, guess what? You're just as guilty as everybody else. Now, this is where it goes into Delphi, Florida, and a few other cases. Everybody wants to look away from this drug ring, the same drug ring Nicholas McClellan's own son, Michael McClellan, own brother, Blaine McClellan, dealt for. Guess who they were supplied by? Kokomo Ring. Hmm. But we're going to keep going here. And like I said, back to Manson mindset. Power means everything to Gabe. If he does not have to, he does not get his hands clean. He has little minions around him to do that for him. Give me a second. And they've already got away with it once. I feel like 4 other times. And now they're trying to get by with it 2 other times. But there is at least 15 missing and killed cases right there in Howard and Carroll County. It goes back to this drug ring. You cannot overlook. You cannot oversee this. But yet you've got the prosecutor, his own family, other politicians, Nita Duff, William Duff. You've got the Patties. You got Joshua Lank, Derek Sherman, Del Wood. You get the idea. All these families were involved in the same drug ring. What we were hearing that was coming in and out of the Flora House operations by the same drug ring. A murder suspect that now sits behind bars for murder was one of the last ones from this drug ring to leave that house before that house went up. Nothing to see here. The same individual sits Principal Derek still to this day. Murder suspect number 1. Number 2 and number 3 is another 2 I helped put behind bars. Guess how and why? So case by case, Amy Lynn, do you realize you're doing federal tampering charges when you're actually looking at poking around cases thanks to Ashley's information? And you think that's not recorded and that's not being documented and let be known? When you're tampering with cases that go back to this same drug ring that she killed for, yeah, Toby, Amy, case by case, I'm calling you guys out. When you're tampering with cases, not one but two, and when these families reach out to me, what should I do? Don't do it. I'm giving them agents and actually contacts with law enforcement on who to contact on getting tampering charges brought against you all. And then I've been talking directly to the same people I put Ashley and Garrett behind bars on the same information, the same drug ring they killed for. I'm talking to the same people that put them behind bars the first time on getting more charges on them. And all it takes, any and every form of communication that's coming in and out of where she's at is all documented. She's given names out other missing killed cases, family members who to contact. Well, guess what? I'll be damned. Guess what's documented? So yeah, you guys are some sick and twisted and demented people. If you think you're gonna get Ashley out, well, guess what? I'm the motherfucker that put her in there. They weren't looking at that drug ring until I gave them the information, the intel, and the insight on where and why to look at that drug ring. So I put that little bitch behind bars where she belongs. The little killer. And I am not heartless. I don't give two shits what you think about me. And that's where she's going to stay. And she's going to get some added charges. So just food for thought. You done pissed me off when you're tampering with other cases that her drug ring went around missing and killed. Maybe instead of tampering, you might want to get some more information out of her on what she knows about these other cases. She ain't innocent because she's about to catch more charges. Any and every one of you that are helping her do this, you might want to look up tampering charges when it comes to deaths involved. 30 years. Amber Blackburn, I'm pretty sure with your felony background, oof, that ain't gonna sit pretty. Just because you're over in Ohio doesn't mean you have the heat torch here. You're helping tamper, and that's a federal offense, honey. That's not gonna look good on your criminal history. That's already pretty up there. Multi-felon, trying to be a felon lawyer, an investigator, ain't gonna work. Not wanting to go after cases or not cases, but other pages. But yeah, that one kind of irked me. I had a family member reach out, kind of freaking out. Who is this? What do they want? And before they ever had to give me a name, I was already telling them, don't do it. And I was giving them law enforcement contacts and who to contact, who to get a hold of, because just had this issue the exact same week that this happened. And hands down, you guys got to do it again. You guys wouldn't be going to these cases if she wasn't talking on what cases are tied and involved with this drug ring. You guys still are pleading her innocence to all these people and getting people twisted and thinking she's innocent. Well, I put that little bitch behind bars and I'm going to make sure she stays there. And oh, yeah, I'm going to make sure I add some more time onto her. Like it needs to be done. Look how Boone County did. One deputy's death. One murder suspect was a dealer in a drug ring. Other individuals within this drug ring, his dealers, the guy that supplied the gun, the dealer above that, they're all sitting behind bars for guess what? Murder. One thing Ashley cannot run from is the drug ring her and Garrett were involved with. Willingly, mind you. Nobody forced her involvement in that drug ring. She willingly participated. Well, guess what? Nobody's going to be forcing these charges, but To her decision to get comfy in jail behind bars, to you guys, and taking you guys are got the power to tamper with these cases outside of behind bars and can get things turned around for you. Well, guess what? All it did is getting more charges brought and more investigations back to where how three murder suspects sits friends with Derek German and his family and others. Like seriously, what were you thinking you were really going to get out of tampering with cases? Kind of getting information that you should not had. And oh yeah, that one, the latest one, I made sure to tell her. I was like, look, this is what they're fishing for. Don't do it. They're fishing for any information to get a suspect out of prison. I put where she belongs. Just like I've done so many other times with my informant status. I put many behind bars that belong there. When you're a threat to my people's lives, I became a threat to yours. Not taking your life, but taking your freedom, you bet my ass. I put many behind bars. Just like I did Ashley. So go ahead and try me. But when you're tampering with other people's cases, families that are suffering, and you're trying to do it for the betterment of Ashley Garth. Look here. Don't look at Ashley. Don't look at this drug ring. Look at this individual. It doesn't work that way. There's a reason on case by case. They don't want to bring up the drug ring and all the names and the families and this, that, and the other. It's not to be respectful. It's the whole fact of what they've got to hide. Just like Toby getting paid to look the other direction. They're coming in stealing money from where he worked, where he's now saying he did not work, but it's right there on his work history. Agriculture supplies on Prince William Road, 100 South. Then about what I think it was like 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. There was a controlled bus with Gabe Ellis manufacturing meth, Prince 100 Road and uh 100 South, 40 feet from the same tanks. From your work, Toby, Liggett responded. What's weird about that is if you look up Gabe Ellis's manufacturing meth charge right there in Carroll County, they transferred it over to not Carroll, but Miami County. He was charged in Miami County when he was arrested right there in Carroll. I'm still trying to scratch my head right there. How's that feasible? Because the county line is still a little ways off from where he was sitting and manufacturing that meth. How can that agriculture supply center be in Delphi address and just 40 feet away is Miami County? Don't work like that. Look where the county lines are. So how did Miami County get a hold of it and not Carroll County where it happened at? Huh. Really got light charges on that. And then like I keep renovating. Think of the Manson mindset. This is how Gabriel Ellis works. He has a set amount of what I call little wannabe goons, and he feels like somebody owes him, wronged him, starts making threats, intimidation, harassment. That don't work. Physical, just straight up missing murder. How many people are involved with this drug ring that are showing up around multiple missing cold cases back to Gabe Ellis in this drug ring, but yet nobody wants to look at that direction? Nothing to see there. Don't look there. Nothing to see there. When the who, what, when, where, why, the motive, the older pedophile over the younger pedophile. Anthony shots count? I get a feeling If they would have really done their job and actually tried to fingerprint that cell phone, I guarantee you would have found Gabe Ellis's prints all on that. Probably paid Keegan to find her and make the meeting, but it was Gabe Ellis that was literally the one that made the meeting the day of right there at the bridge using his account. I guarantee you that's how that worked. Then he got not one, not two, but four defense attorneys talking about the son's Odin part. You're hearing only part of that and only part of the names. Like I said, look back at the Rune video I did with Kyle Stacy, tagging Gabe Ellis and a few other of the odinism names they were involved with back to that drug ring. Oh, remember, nothing to see there. There's a lot to see there. And in doing so, you decide to actually look. You open your eyes up. Not just one case, not two, not three, not four. There's about 70 statewide missing killed. About 19 of these were kids. One thing that has a network analysis been going on, criminal network analysis has been shown. One thing you do see is a lot of these cases are involved back into what? Troubled community, sex and drugs, which what ring has a lot of control in that. But yet again, nothing to see here. When case after case, including kid after kid after kid, their cases, their family, the father, uncle, great uncle, dealing, using, multiple debts rack up thousands upon thousands of drugs and money owed. The threats don't work. Not getting their money back, not getting their return back, not getting what's owed back to them. Then you got to think, Gabe Ellis is already on the run with Sierra Daly, Karina McClurkin's younger cousin. The same younger cousin will let her family know Karina was dead 48 hours after she was missing. And I'm supposed to trust this little bitch on when I asked her family, when Gabe Ellis and his ring went and did Delphi, did Sierra go with? Her family says, no, I don't think she did. How's that not an admission of guilt from another member of the girl's family? And I made sure to rewrite it. So you're telling me she may not have went, but she knows who went with him and who was at that bridge. Tegan Callis, his girlfriend. You got Kyle Stacy, which Kyle already played a role in Karina's. The hot shot made sure she was dead. I heard came from aka Juicy Kyle. Kyle Stacy himself was contacted by Gabe to bring it. Gabe Ellis already brought himself involved with Karina's, including the driver that picked her up from when I helped her. He said that on record, but do you see Gabe Ellis on the going on trial? Do you see the driver that took her out there going on trial? When he puts them both involved, just like I said when I seen her get picked up. And everybody keeps wondering, what can we do to push through this? It starts back at Karina's case. Not just her, 126 days before, just days before Flora and this ring acted in Flora. But it starts with an individual that stopped to help Karina. It was not just a regular citizen. I just so happened to be an FBI informant on my way home and did an act of selfless service. While doing that act of selfless service, until she got picked up, for over 3 hours, I've got 3 hours of testimony I've given to KPD, the prosecutor's office, audio and video. They're keeping that hidden. They're keeping the real witness, the one not involved in this drug ring, off the trial. Well, guess what? That's about to change. Working with the defense and actually going on this stand as exactly what I was, and it took the prosecutor, investigator himself to look up I was speaking the truth. I wasn't just a normal, everyday Joe just on my way home. No. I knew in the back of my mind it was like something's really wrong. Why do I believe Gabe was at the bridge? Well, let's just put it this way. There is multiple, and I mean multiple, Dillings. Blaine McClellan, Nicholas McClellan's own younger offspring, Michael, among others, Dilling, and were supplied by guess who? Gabe Ellis. And why do I believe that Gabe was at the bridge? Look at the ones around him. Remember they keep saying a Bowie knife, possibly a Bowie knife was involved? One of his little buddies that was actually said to be there that day. And yes, some people talk, including some members of these individuals, talk. One of the knives said to have been used that night was actually been paraded around on multiple pages. That sure isn't rust. And every chance they got, they had that knife steady in their hand, almost like a trophy, flaunting it right in front of everybody's faces. And thank you, Ernest. That's what I'm thinking. And it just blows my mind where everybody keeps asking, what can we do? Force my 1023 files involved. I was a federal witness from the first victim, and I was still active as an FBI informant, even while Delphi was taking place. Which means all the information that agent was getting, he was mishandling both the informant and the intel. And the Joint Terrorism Task Force, which I was an informant for, has a long history when it comes to we knew knew intel, but we failed to act. Florida shootings sound familiar? FBI actually had to come out publicly. We knew intel, but we failed to act. Multiple kids' lives were killed. New Mexico jihad compound. They made sure to level that place after they made that deadly mistake. Exactly how they did it here in Indiana. I wasn't involved with Sons Odin, but was I put in place and actually asked to get as much information I could as an informant and reaching out and kind of networking and trying to actually get any and every name I could? Bet my ass I did. There's a few hundred names right there on my 1023 files. And that was, like I said, about 3 months before Delphi. But like I said, every single one of you keep asking, what can we do? Well, guess what? There's a federal witness that they're making sure does not take a stand more than one trial. The reason being is my 1023 files, and the fact that I was still an informant, turned federal eyewitness in one case, and what I was finding in one case that I was an eyewitness to, there was ties and connections and network analysis. Which, if you got to look up network analysis, there was a network of a group of individuals. You got a few head people, like a head dealer, a head supplier, and tentacles that kind of come out where he gets the bulk of the drugs and he does it down to his smaller dealers. Do you realize in Delphi right now there's such two active drug trap houses? Active, still to this day. Then right there in Florida, one dealer under Gabe lived. She was Florida's one of Florida's biggest dealers. But nothing to see. by looking at this ring. Hmm. Is it why the politicians are pressuring Nick McClellan not to go after this ring and the individuals involved with this ring are involved with the case? And his own motive on doesn't even want to ruin his own reputation, his own last name? I think what happened in Boone County, how they did that new law where dealers whose drugs are responsible for overdoses can be charged with murders. I think it needs to be rewrote as a whole and used for every single dealer, no matter who you are involved with Carinas, Delphi, Flora, family or not. Every single dealer involved with that ring, just like Boone County did with their Deputy Pickett. The prosecutors redid that to the point where dealers, when their drugs was responsible for a murder, they're going to be charged with a murder. Well, I think each and every single one of Diller, Blaine McClellan, Michael McClellan, Derek Sherman, Del Wood, Joshua Lank, pretty sure if they all catch the same charges, you think a lot more won't be coming to light. The politicians, the local law enforcement, or even some of their own family don't pour this ring. You think a lot wouldn't be forced into light. That's something you can actually do. Look up the one that wrote that law. Start pressuring that guy to change it to exactly how Boone County used it. And instead of barely used law, make that law mandatory for any time a drug dealer, either an overdose or a murder, happens over their drugs, are charged with murder. Nothing less. And I guarantee you start enacting that and enforcing that and pressing that, you're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot, of information and individuals being rounded up and a lot of information being brought up. And these other names, these other individuals they know are involved, I guarantee you Nicholas McClellan knows his family's drug ring is involved in some of the names that are brought up. He's sitting on, does not want to bring up. Why? It would almost surely ruin his political career. Would you want him sitting as prosecutor when his own family was involved on why more than what 6 little girls lost their lives thanks to this drug ring? He's sitting high and mighty and head held high, but your Dilling family is the reason multiple kids are dead. Not me. Your family, their decisions, their dealing, their drugs, the ring they were involved in. But oh, that's another reason why he and the locals, I swear, have connections and affiliations to some of these YouTubers because the moment I start pressing, and I've been pressing, and I've been hitting hard at this drug ring, look here, don't look away. So many start up on, oh, don't look this, don't look here. Oh, he's nuts. Don't believe him. Even Anna said, well, make sure you're not believed. They know. And yes, that is exactly. You need to shut the fuck up because nobody's going to believe you anyway. Anna's exact words to me when it comes to that drug ring and its involvement. They're going to make sure nobody believes me anyway. Well, guess what? I'm not going to stop talking. And like I said, jail some of his family members. Bet my ass. Their drugs, their dealing was involved and cost more than one kid their lives. I stand on the side of the victims and their cases more than I ever do with families. And any family member that's actually been concealing the whole fact of this drug ring, including dealers within their family, were involved, you are just as guilty as us drug ring. And that's what makes me sick. Because you got the patties running around on interviews and uh, everything like that, and getting donations coming in. You think all that interviews, the donations, everything would have happened if it came to be let out? The families involved with the drug ring, the same drug ring that's killed before multiple times, proven, and still has affiliations with killers and suspects and this drug ring, still to this day. If that was shown and actually proven and let known, that's not camera friendly. That's not donation friendly. And you wonder why he keeps getting silenced, keeps getting pushed aside, pushed under the rug, looked away. That second part of the son's Odin issue, the ties, the names back to that drug ring, is really where you need to look. Instead of looking away, you need to look towards. And I cannot stress that enough. It just it blows my mind where so many people can trust Indiana State Police on everything, every word they say. When it comes to Anthony Shots' account, we do know for a fact where Anthony Shots, Keegan's account, was in contact with Libby the day of. Had a meeting there at the bridge the day of. Nothing to see there. And Blaine Nelson, the life I had with him. He was one of the right hand dealers with right along beside Gabe at the time. Even tells you they sent Keegan Klein over to Vegas. Yeah, they sent him with some money for the trip for his time going, but they also sent him with more money to pick up product to bring back. You get the rest of your money when you get back. He didn't go to Vegas for weed. He was sent there for meth by the older pedophile. The same pedophile that actually every single one of his pedophile charges got dropped, but yet Howard County and Kokomo PD made a big FBI raid on just possession of child porn. Not producing, not everything Gabe Ellis had. Let's drop all his charges. It's only giving the dealing. And you got, look how many times Howard and Carroll County, how many of these dealers, which mind you, they're still serial killing drug ring. How many of these individuals keep getting so light charges? Makes you wonder. Then you got like McClellan, his own team, responsible of charging his son, charging his brother. You think it was to the full extent of the law, or let's show some favoritism. Let's just do probation. Let's just do this. This is the prosecutor's son and brother, by the way, so we can't hit him too hard. We can't throw him behind bars for years. We can't do that. That won't look good. Then the operations were the patties, the real estate, the assessing. Do you realize in Indiana we do have an active cartel drug ring going on? Showed in 2018 raids when they actually admitted it. And you realize in the United States the number one way they make money is they pay assessors, people that come in, assess properties off to value these properties that they just spent X amount of money and pay them off to assess these properties higher than what they really are, inflate the properties so they can resell these properties, make a profit, and what they're doing is actually laundering their money, turning their drug, bloody money into clean money. Number one way is through assessors and real estate in the United States of America. Look it up. It is the number one way the cartel launders its money. And you got some individuals sitting back there innocent, like they don't know what's going on, why, what happened. It's what they are not saying, and the law knows, and they're not saying. But when you got Miami Post detective Charles Chuck Benzinger, no, not Benzinger, Charles Chuck Myers, and Kokomo PD detective Benzinger admitting to over 40 child exploitation videos, not videos, but 40 exploitation cases, including Delphi, sitting cold on desks, and so many you put such a blind eye behind the Indiana State Police and Carter themselves. When they know information, guarantee you when it comes back to this drugging themselves, names and people are involved and possibilities that they're around and involved in other cases, just like the FBI. I 100% feel with the bottom of my heart till my last breath. Michael Curtis, if he would have acted on that drug ring, those names, lives would have been prevented, killed. Missing and killed cases would have been prevented. FBI allowed it. The negligence, the lies, the disregard is what allowed it. And exactly that. I'm going to be honest with you, August. The reason I think why he doesn't talk is the whole reason why is he knows his drugs and that drug ring has involvement in it. And if all it takes is him to slip up on one thing or let something out, and it's going to open a whirlwind that the patties want hidden. So here, Derek, honey, let us do the talking. We won't slip up and let things be known. And like if you talk, it will be slipped up. You were slipped up along the way, somewhere along the questioning, the hard questioning, somewhere along the line, you're going to slip up and let it out. We cannot afford to have that out. It will give us a bad image. Your guys' drugs, you guys dealing, if it's shown involved with the girls' case, why the girls were killed, it won't give us a good light, honey. So stay back there, stay in the basement, be a good little boy. Let us do the talking. But yet, same people that are doing the talking, I guarantee you, how they were able to even getting all these donations to add properties to their real estate company. Yeah, do some history. Speaking tax and property information. All these donations were coming in. Guess who are adding to their property list? And do some simple math on how much they own in real estate, how much they're bringing in rent wise through that said real estate. That rent's pretty much paying the mortgage, so those houses are pretty much paying themselves off, and they're extra, and any other donations that are still coming in towards the family, they're pocketing it. I ain't saying it, but they know a hell of a lot more, the Patties included. Did they ever? And I want them to take the stand. Did you ever take money from any drug ring, cartel or not, to inflate values of properties that these drug members bought? And it is not hard, honey, Becky, to actually look up dealers, cartel members owning real estate and some of the real estate that you guys went in and valued. Where Derek was going was a hotbed. I got a former 2015 dealer opened up all about like a garage over in Frankfurt. Same Frankfurt you're going to is owned and operated by the cartel. Openly saying where they were getting kilos at this garage. Makes you wonder what his real intention on going to Frankfurt was. Was it for the company? Was it for personal? For this ring? Hmm. Many of you didn't realize that was over there, along with another trap house. But the more you know, and the more you decide to look and open your eyes. I'm gonna leave this short enough where a lot more people will actually take time to actually listen to this in full. A lot of these people doing 3, 4, 5 hour live streams. A lot of people do not take the time to actually hear what is all said. But you don't believe what in the names I just said and the laws I just told you. Do some looking yourself. Look it up yourselves. Push. Demand. I know my informant files. What I have, I can back myself up. That's why you're going to see me on two different stands. The state don't want to use me. Well, guess what? The information's coming out one way or another, even if I have to take the side of the defense. It's not the first time this drug ring's trying to set somebody up to take the fall, the rest to walk. And county prosecutors and locals have been helping. Look back at Carinas. Look what's not being done in Florida. Look at Delphi. Look where they do not want you to look. Read what they do not want you to read. See what they do not want you to see. All in how you make a little bit of money. And I guarantee you, a lot of this money from the real estate, the inflation of properties, they send a nice chunk of change. That gets investigated, and that gets looked into, and that gets found. That sure won't look good. You inflated property's value when there was nothing done to these properties, but just simply buying and selling. It's happened.